in the heart of Beer City, USA. Two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Wicked Weed Brewing. Drink different.
It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Welcome in to the Sportsocracy. ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app and seen everywhere at thesportsocracy.com and on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, though. Click on that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can get in the chat that way, and we got a lot to chat about today. We got a whole lot of things going on in the NFL. The coaching carousel is in overdrive right now.
Yeah, I said, man, this is taking forever. And, okay. Hold my beer.
It's like drinking from a fire hose as teams are making their decisions on who is going to be their head coach. We've got Nathaniel Hackett. We have Matt Eberflus.
One of those decisions I'm reasonably happy about. The other one is going to get talked about two times in this show.
Two times in this show. We got a hold up with the Byron Leftwich situation down in Jacksonville. Very interesting that a head coaching candidate will start making demands on who's around.
There's a reason for that.
And there's a reason for that. You want me? You're going to put me in a situation to win. And, of course, Jones Angel will join us at 4 o'clock to have another Tar Heel time with the voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels. We'll talk about the past 3 games. We're going to have a 2-game winning streak. It reminds me of that. It reminds me of that quote from Major League. Like, we won a game today. We won a game yesterday. We win again. That's called a winning streak. We'll see if we can continue the streak coming up this weekend. We'll talk to Jones about all things going on in Chapel Hill. And Big Ben has retired, announcing his retirement after 18 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's where we will begin. I mean, obviously, Big Ben, historical figure in the NFL, 2-time Super Bowl champion. Is he the greatest Steeler of all time, though?
I don't think there's any doubt that he is.
You think so?
And I really didn't think that was even a spicy take. Apparently it is.
Well, I mean, some people, and I'll say that's usually the older generation, will believe that he's not even the best quarterback in Steelers history.
I would love to have that. Because that is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard in my life.
Ben Roethlisberger, hands down to you, not even a question, better than Terry Bradshaw.
Not even kind of debatable.
A 4-time Super Bowl winner.
That was on quite possibly the most talented team in NFL history.
Right.
You can't give me the, Joe Namath was overrated, and then celebrate Terry Bradshaw. Look, he's a great commentator, and I like the guy a lot. Ben did way more with way less.
Right. But in the end, it always comes down to rings for those people. I got 4. Ben's got 2. Terry Bradshaw is the greatest of all time.
Well, and Terry Bradshaw also didn't have to deal with, what's that guy's name? You know, the bane of my... Oh, yeah, Tom Brady. He didn't have to deal with that.
This is very true.
I'll tell you something that I didn't think about until I asked this question in some Steelers groups, and in between the 4-letter words and the telling me to do things that are anatomically impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the third? All right, so if it's Ben, Terry Bradshaw, who's next?
Mean Joe Greene.
No. Quarterbacks.
Oh, quarterbacks.
Yeah, of quarterbacks.
Oh, my God, for Pittsburgh? I mean, Neil O'Donnell?
That's who I think it is.
Right.
That's exactly who I think it is.
Right.
Neil O'Donnell, a name that I can't say without having tremendous acid reflux.
Oh, the Neil O'Donnell Jets years weren't great to you. Of course, many of the Jets years have not been great to you. So
just keep it moving. Don't have to take the shots. Okay, this ain't about me.
I apologize. I think this is a great question, though. Is Ben the greatest Steeler of all time? And I am going to take the tact of no, he's not the greatest Steeler of all time. I think when you look at it, To me, the most identifiable face with the Pittsburgh Steelers is Joe Greene.
First of all, I'm not going to listen to anybody that played in the 70s. I'm just not. Okay? It's a different league.
Right.
I don't really know.
But
I use the Nancy Reagan line. I can't really explain it to you,
right?
But I can point it out and go, there are a lot of guys that look like me that played in the NFL in the 70s.
True.
Not many guys that play in the NFL now that look like me. There's only one name I would even listen to.
Okay.
And for me, this is the argument of who is the greatest player in your history. You could revise that to who's the greatest quarterback in your history.
Because nobody else matters.
Troy Polamalu till you're blue in the face. If Troy Polamalu had been playing with, I don't know, let's go Mike Tomczak or Bubby Brister or Mark Malone. For some reason, I don't think he would have had the same impact.
Mm-hmm.
What does that tie to? It ties right back to Ben.
Right.
I have to do this because this is not only our first of the day, but it's very well timed.
I'm your huckleberry.
David Evans Olson, welcome to the House of Reprehensibles, one of our great Steeler fan friends.
Yes.
We have a poll up on the YouTube stream right now. Is Ben Roethlisberger the greatest Steeler of all time?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, 55% say no, 45% say yes.
Yeah.
And I am one of the ones that said yes.
That said yes. I was one of the ones that said no because I mean, I get that it's a different game, but I mean, back in the day, I guess, and to me, I never saw him play. I never saw Mean Joe Greene play in person. I was not around for that. Right, you've seen the commercials. But I've seen all of the highlights. I've seen all of the stories. It's just I will always tie him. And actually, the most recognizable face to the Pittsburgh Steelers to me is, I mean, he's in the discussion of greatest Steelers of all time. Obviously, I mean, he's in the top 6 or 7. But it's Jack Lambert. How can you forget the guy with no teeth and just? I mean, he was a force.
And I don't disagree with any of that. I've got one trump card that's going to be really hard for you to beat.
Okay.
How many losing seasons did Ben Roethlisberger ever have?
Oh, God, he had 2.
It's 0.
0?
It's not 1.
Yeah.
His rookie year, he was 15-1.
Yeah.
I would argue he's going to go down as one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks of at least of my lifetime. I'm not going to get into the Ken O'Brien, who's the most underrated quarterback of all time.
Right.
I'll take your answer off the air.
I'm not doing that.
I mean, I don't think Ben falls into that category necessarily.
Oh, he absolutely does, because there's people that think he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, and those people
are stupid. I'm on the bandwagon with you on that one. He's no doubt to me first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. To me, it was just. I've heard this from people over and over and over again. Eli Manning, he's got 2 Super Bowls. He's just as good as Ben Roethlisberger, who has 2 Super Bowls. And again,
there's a word I have for that. Stupid.
Right. There was Ben was a different cat. Mm-hmm. When he came onto the block, he was this kid out of Miami of Ohio that I knew nothing about because I didn't care about NFL draft scouting back in the day. I didn't care at all. When I saw that they drafted Ben Roethlisberger, I went, who is that? And why are they putting the franchise, of one of the greatest franchises on the shoulder of this kid? I've had that same argument or that same thought in my head about every kid that came from a lower school. Josh Allen, same thing. Ben Roethlisberger was the one that broke it all for me, personally. To see a guy come in and be able to do the things that he could do. He was a dual threat. He was great.
I'm going to go trump card number 2. Ben played 18 years. Mm-hmm. In the 18 years directly preceding to him, how many losing seasons the Steelers have? In 18 years?
6.
It's exactly 6.
Okay.
People have this revisionist history that because Neil O'Donnell won a Super Bowl with him in the mid-90s, this was a pretty also-ran franchise from about the time let's see, specifically from 98 to about the time Ben got there. And the back half of the 80s. They're an also-ran. Yes, it's a historically great franchise. This was the guy that leveled everything off. And it's really hard to find this guy. This was Mr. Steeler. He fit the culture. He fit everything. And I could make the argument he made the careers of a lot of guys. Le'Veon Bell.
Right. Antonio Brown. Can't go there.
Antonio
He's had
Brown's been
success
good in other
elsewhere.
places.
Yeah.
There are a lot of Steelers players that left Pittsburgh and fell off the world.
Mm-hmm.
To me, this is not even close. And if you're a Steeler fan, this should be a happy day, and it should be a partially sad day.
I mean, yeah, it's always going to be a sad day when the guy retires. I mean, New England Patriots fans went through this when Tom Brady left. Of what do we do now? Now half of them jumped over to the Tampa bandwagon, but
I do.
They
remember,
went through that.
I do remember the day Tom left Tampa. God, left for Tampa.
Yeah.
God, that was a good day.
Knowing that
the sun shined brighter, birds chirped louder, beer tasted better.
Right.
It was just a good day.
Knowing that the Jets were out from under the reign of terror, and now you're back in it.
Well, we never really stopped. We had a couple speed bumps where we were good and didn't mean to be.
Right.
Ben's one of those guys that you can't really explain. It's really hard to explain this gigantic, hulking human who had a huge arm and was virtually impossible to bring down.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of quarterbacks that have been great over our lifetime that look strikingly similar. Eli Manning looks like 40 other quarterbacks that I could list through history. The discrepancy, there's no other Ben. There's never been a guy who literally was as athletic as the cup I'm drinking out of, speed-wise. I would wager by the end of his career, he was running the 40s and the 7s. And it didn't matter.
Right.
Because he was such a competitor, such a gamer, such a big physical individual. And he set the pace for this franchise for almost 2 decades. And now the uncomfortable part, and the second half of this discussion is if you're Pittsburgh, where do you go from here? What do you do now?
Right.
You're picking in the middle of the draft. There's not really a surefire quarterback. I can't get away from Kenny Pickett solely because the last time Pittsburgh had a quarterback, well, you boo-booed that one real good. Mm-hmm. So I'm not so sure you're going to do that again. But he's not a no-doubter.
No.
That's not a franchise quarterback. That's going to look much more like Mike Tomczak and Bubby Brister than it looked like Ben. But this team's so good. It's so talented. And before anybody says this, and I know somebody's going to, it's not Aaron Rodgers. Okay? Can we just kill that before we even start that? Oh, no. But him and Tomlin looked at each other and had a look in their eye. Stop.
No, he's going to Denver.
Oh, we'll talk about that later in the show. Yeah. I'm already tired of that, and Nathaniel Hackett hasn't even gotten on the plane to go to Denver.
It was the first thing I heard when I turned on, any sports radio this morning, and I went, "Oh, this is going to be fun." Jeremy's going to have a ball with that this afternoon.
Adam Black in our YouTube comment said apparently Colin Cowherd has been on this all day.
Mm-hmm.
That Roethlisberger was a horrible underachiever. Oh, if Peyton had the talent. Peyton did have the talent.
Mm-hmm.
I actually saw it with my own 2 eyes. He did have the talent.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Adrian James.
Yep.
And Scene.
Yep.
I'll take that over any 3 players that Ben ever had.
Mm-hmm.
So that argument is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson apparently is another one that just stop talking. Okay, just stop talking. I love Colin, but stop that.
Yeah. No, you got to be spicy. You got to have the takes, and you knew this was coming. You knew there were going to be people who said things like that, like he underachieved. They should have won more. Well, I mean, you talk to Steeler fans, and I don't want to rain on your parade or anything today because it is a day of celebration, a day of remembrance of what this guy did for your organization. But a lot of the blame has not gone to Ben. Who's been blamed for putting the cap on the success of the Pittsburgh Steelers? It's Mike Tomlin.
Which is also ridiculous.
I agree. But now we want to shift and say it's Ben's fault? No.
This is a team that has not missed the playoffs 3 years in a row since Ben got there.
Mm-hmm.
Not once. Didn't do it one time by accident. And to try to slight the career, say, oh, he's an underachiever, or the defense was so good. But was it, though? All right, we have this narrative that, oh, Ben had these tremendous defenses. Well, I mean, by that same token, if you go the last 9 years in the career, defense was only in the top 10 in total defense 3 times.
Right.
So, there was a lot of 18, 16, 20s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think back to the Super Bowl years. I mean, that was a hallmark of that team was the defense.
Oh, and that's why he gets slighted.
Right,
because people say it was because of the defense, and he just piggybacked on that. And he had Le'Veon Bell, and he had Antonio Brown, all the way to now with Deontay Johnson and Juju Smith-Schuster and Chase Claypool.
Mm-hmm. Hey, anybody could have outscored their opponents when I had Troy Polamalu and James Harrison, and Ben was great.
And Scott Cutshall just had the absolute, and to me, this is the trump card, and this is the final word on this, and it's the perfect one. Ben was a beast for years. Don't let the last 4 years cloud your memory of him. And that's exactly what I feel like happens, is that you saw him age, and he aged at a rate. He came in the league after Brady and is going out before. And people think that means you didn't have a long, illustrious. No, this is what humans do. This is what people that have complex carbohydrates do.
Right.
That don't live on avocado ice cream and Ugg boots. All right, so don't let the fact he played in the Brady era sway your thought process on him. If you go back through the years, if he'd played in any other era than when he did, he would have been a top 4 quarterback in the league at any time. You remember earlier this week when we did the recasting the NFL?
Yeah.
Do you remember how quickly you got to Phil Simms?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty quick. Ben's better than Phil Simms. It's not even worth talking about.
Agreed.
That's one of those that I'll just look at you and go, there's 2 sides of an argument, the right side and the wrong side. You're on the wrong side. And you can do that through the years. I'm going to say this, and I firmly believe it. Ben Roethlisberger is a top 15 quarterback that ever played in this league. And I don't even think it's debatable.
You get no pushback from me on that one. I think he deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He deserves to be remembered for bringing Pittsburgh Steeler football, or at least playing the crucial role in bringing Pittsburgh Steeler football back to the NFL. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN. Asheville, coaching hirings going on all over the league. We're going to talk about Matt Eberflus up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.